As you guys might already know, I'm very much looking forward to the Watch Dogs 3. And because of that, I have decided to make a dedicated video for it as well and talk about, well, not particularly me, but as well I want to say all of us that would love to see something new or something different in the Watch Dogs 3. Now, earlier this week, Ubisoft has held a financial earnings call where the company revealed its 3 unannounced games coming out before the end of March 2020. And obviously the speculation is very high as of what those 3 games could be. And one very likely option is Watch Dogs 3. It will have been already since 3 years since the release of the Watch Dogs 2, and for Ubisoft, you know, who until recently released massive Assassin's Creed game a year apart, and had just like 11 months between like, what was it, Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn. And yeah, so the 3 years of the practical, you know, it's practically forever that it takes, the amount of time that it feels like anyway. So, let's just say we feel like pretty confident in building our, excitement, and for me goes to similar, for a new entry into the Watch Dogs series. And it's got me thinking, just what do I want from the franchise? What do we want from the franchise? Now, obviously, I do love both of the Watch Dogs games, but they were both, very different. Moody Aiden from the Watch Dogs 1 led a darker, more visceral, action-led game, so to say. And Watch Dogs 2 Marcus, on the other hand, was hyper, younger, and altogether more likable, personally, I think. The game also had a lighter tone, thanks to in part of its sunny San Francisco setting opposed to the more dreary Chicago. Where the Watch Dogs had you firing guns apparently, Watch Dogs 2 led you towards the stealth and non-lethal attacks. So just what do we think about it? Like, what do we want to see from the Watch Dogs 3 anyway? Now, obviously, let's talk about the location. Now, rumors are already there, like talking about Watch Dogs 3, that it will be set in London. Ubisoft has not yet confirmed it. It hasn't confirmed that Watch Dogs 3 even exists, in fact. After all, but, Ubisoft rumors have tendencies to be pretty much accurate, if you ask me. And London will be a pretty great backdrop for the next Watch Dogs game, I personally think. It's a very varied city, so to say. It's a mix of old and new architecture, makes of an interesting and exciting location to explore. But if it's not London, let's speculate on that. If it's not, like, I'd personally be happy to take anywhere that offers something a little different from Chicago or San Francisco. One was a bit too gloomy, the other was a bit too bright and too sunny. And now Watch Dogs themes are a little dark after all, perhaps, and London feels like a perfect balance for those two extremes, with its gloomy weather but pretty lively place. Yeah. So let's talk about, the stealth, the action, the gameplay. Like, I loved Watch Dogs 2. But I didn't like how it, demanded pretty much every major action sequence to be tackled stealthily. Sure, markers, gadgets, remote control cars, and drones were very, very cool, but I personally missed Aiden's no shit given attitude. He just walks in and opens fire. I mean, you have that option in Watch Dogs 2 as well, but I personally hope that in Watch Dogs 3 allows us to tackle in the biggest battles and whichever way that we choose. Like with stealth or all-out warfare being equally valid tactics. As long as the bad guys are out the way and we get what we want, doesn't matter how we get there as well. It's just personal preference. So let's talk about the customization, right? Both Eden and Marcus were memorable, yeah, although not necessarily in the best way. They were very different from one another, and the story of each game very much shaped around their personalities. Now, I don't necessarily want a massive Fallout 4 style character creator, and obviously I don't think that we don't mind if our characters is set person with a set gender, but at least like to be able to shape their skill set and abilities a little bit. It would be good if their penchants for either stealthy or non-lethal attacks or heavy gunplay wasn't in the way of the influence by the choices that we as players can make. Now, talk about okay, let's talk about this. You know, some kind of ties with the previous games. That would be kind of interesting to see. And like, let's say Aiden Pierce, right, popped up and briefly in Watch Dogs 2. He did actually, but it was just very fucking briefly, unfortunately. It would be nice if we both, him and Marcus Holloway, played as a large role in the Watch Dogs. DedSec, the underground hacking group at the heart of the Watch Dogs, became more of an intrinsic of the part of the Watch Dogs 2, and it will be undoubtedly be important in the Watch Dogs 3 too. Now, Aiden is not a member of the group, you know, but he's worked with them, and Marcus is a key member of its outfit in the San Francisco. Now, we obviously know it's a worldwide group to see both Aiden and Marcus interact with the London brand of the DedSec, or whichever city it's going to be anyway. Now, would add some kind of much needed continuity to the series as well, I personally think so. Now, biggest thing and biggest selling point I want to say about this game is the hacking. Now, hacking is a big part of the Watch Dogs universe. It was practically Aiden's and Marcus's sole purpose after all. While playing the mission had us, well, I personally think had us anyway, hack various things, is hacking in an open world that gets the most fun out of it. Whether it was hacking traffic lights or cause a massive accident, or hacking into someone's laptop to see what they've been up to. There's a lot of potential for mischief and mayhem, and while of course our Watch Dogs protagonist may be fighting for the greater good, sometimes curiosity gets better of them. So I kind of hope that Watch Dogs 3 gives us an opportunity to cause a bit more chaos and go snooping in a place where we probably shouldn't be looking. Would even, like, I personally think will be welcome to the consequences to our actions as well. Now, talk about the missions. Being in open world games, Watch Dogs has so far offered us, you know, plenty of opportunity to stray from the main story path and complete a variety of side quests. Some of these have been pretty inventive, and such as the piecing together graffiti of the QR codes and finding the right spots to stand in order to be able to scan it. And Watch Dogs 2 gave us an unforgettable missions where we sneak into Ubisoft offices and found information about the unreleased game. More of this, please, Ubisoft. That would be freaking lovely. So the nature of the Watch Dogs allows us to have some more fun. And I personally love to even more invention showing through in the Watch Dogs 3 side missions. The other, you know, sort of important thing I want to say is the multiplayer, the co-op, right? Watch Dogs only means of the multiplayer was an odd but, you know, bit fun mode that lets you temporarily hack into the another player's game without them knowing. Watch Dogs 2 sort of had to cooperate, playing that another player could join you, but you couldn't complete the main mission together. It would be great if Watch Dogs 3 allowed for a true co-op, where two players can team up and tackle the game together in whatever way they choose, sort of style of Far Cry. Whichever direction Ubisoft goes and does decide to go in the Watch Dogs 3, though I'm personally excited to see how it turns out. Although very different, I loved Watch Dogs. I loved also Watch Dogs 2. So trust that DedSec and Bloom's story will continue well in the next entry in whatever form it takes. Obviously, I'm more than confident of seeing and expecting that Watch Dogs 3 will be at the E3 2019, by the time of like in a little less than a month to go, so that's awesome. Tell me down in the comments what else would you like to see, something new or interesting in the, or maybe some kind of change in fact in the Watch Dogs 3. Perhaps maybe I already have included it all in here. And yeah, love to read it. Also, before I do go, my apologies about my voice. I'm still a little bit sick, coughing and everything, so unfortunately, and that's why I may sound a little bit different. And yeah, might be hopefully it's not too disturbing for you guys. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, definitely getting better, so I'm okay on that part as well. More videos will be popping up soon as well, guys. Thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe. See you guys later, have an awesome day, and yeah, as always, have a good one.